Both sides were feeling the strain of the brutal 2-month-old war in Ukraine on Saturday, as Russia was forced to shift troops in its far eastern regions to bolster a faltering offensive, and Ukrainians coped with fuel shortages caused by Moscow's airstrikes on key infrastructure. Russia has doubled down on its costly and stumbling invasion, throwing more soldiers into the fray and raining missiles on targets like rail lines and fuel depots, making it harder for Ukraine to supply its outnumbered but highly motivated troops. The Ukrainian military's high command said on Saturday that Russian forces normally based in the country's far east were being deployed to the main battlefront in eastern Ukraine, where Moscow's commanders are trying to encircle entrenched Ukrainian positions. UK Defense Ministry also said that Russia had been forced to merge and redeploy depleted and disparate units from failed advances in northeast Ukraine. Moscow has sustained heavy losses as it tries to regain momentum in what the Pentagon has described as a plotting offensive in eastern Ukraine. The Ukrainians are increasingly well armed, as more powerful weapons from the west reach the front lines. Ukraine's military did not say how many new Russian troops were being deployed. Russian forces continued pounding Ukraine's eastern Donbas region on Saturday but failed to capture 3 target areas, Ukraine's military said, while Moscow said Western sanctions on Russia and arms shipments to Ukraine were impeding peace negotiations. The Russians were trying to capture the areas of Lyman in Donetsk and Severodonetsk and Popasna in Luhansk, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces said in a daily update. Not succeeding, the fighting continues. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, in remarks published early on Saturday, said lifting Western sanctions on Russia was part of the peace talks, which he said were difficult but continued daily by video link. The talks' agenda includes, among other things, the issues of denazification, the recognition of new geopolitical realities, the lifting of sanctions, the status of the Russian language, he said, without elaborating. But Ukrainian negotiator Mikhailo Podolyak denied this, saying Lavrov had not attended a single negotiating round. Meanwhile, at least 2 buses dispatched to evacuate civilians from a town at the front lines of the battle for the eastern Donbas region came under fire on Saturday before going missing. One of the buses was found hours later, empty but for blood stains, according to Surai Ihede, the head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration. The second bus could not be found. Also, drivers lined up at gas stations across Ukraine over the weekend as Kyiv struggled to deal with a fuel shortage caused by Russian attacks on oil infrastructure.